how to handle adversity in your business. Hi, I'm Dory. I am recording and documenting my journey as a business owner. I am a owner of a small creative business called Miracle Magnet Studios, and I'm going through my first 2 years of experiences, the ups and downs, and documenting it for myself and other business owners, small business owners who hopefully can benefit from these videos. I'm just getting to complete my 2 years at the end of November this year. And I have to say, the one thing no one really prepares you for is the adversity that you will have to face in your business. Because at the beginning, you're just really focusing on your services started, getting your pricing started, hiring, how you gonna get clients, sales work, leads, all of these things that I'm talking about in other videos. But the one thing that nobody really talks about is how much adversity you will need to face. And if you come from a corporate background or being an employee before you running your own business, it's something that is really tough to take. And this adversity comes from all different angles and something I was absolutely not prepared for at the beginning. And it really takes a toll on you because you are grinding and then there's something unexpected happens. This could be in the form of unexpected taxes, charges. The clients leave even though like you had contractual agreement to say otherwise, or they don't pay the money. Freelancers or employees taking your business. There's so many different variations, and honestly, no one prepares you for it. There are no videos, I'm yet to find one, who actually talk about this. Only 10, 15, 20 years down the line. And even then, not really like to the depths of the experience of like, okay, but how do you handle something like that? And I'm not saying that I will be able to give you all the answers. What I can help with at this point potentially is like, you have to prepare for it. And honestly, I think it's like such a cliche. And people think like, yeah, okay, I know I need to prepare for that. But you don't prepare how quickly this can happen because you almost feel like you really have to be running your business before any of these things happen. And when I say running your business, then like, oh, you're really already needing to make a lot of money, and then that's when all the bad things might happen. But honestly, no, they will be coming in small, medium, larger sizes and all variations. For me, that was a very challenging obstacle. That how do you keep going despite all of those things happening? Not losing enthusiasm, not getting too stressed out. Honestly, all I can say, the more this happens, the better and more experience you're gonna get. Things I went through in my business were very unexpected, and many of those things that people only talk about if you share your experience with them, but they not necessarily talk about it up front. So many of them I didn't even foresee coming because I'm a too trusting person. But at the very beginning, I didn't actually ever think that a freelancer, you actually, for example, there was a situation that we had a freelancer, we gave them a job, and then they convinced the company to actually go with them directly rather than with my company. And this freelancer, essentially, with that job that we were going to be signing, took a potential 30K revenue, £30,000 revenue on an annual basis. So these things are not your common business struggles and real challenges that are happening. Or people being there who actually coming in for working experience. The agreement is learning. You get a setup around no fees or no compensation for their work, and all of a sudden then they want a lot of money, and then the agreement is not what you actually discussed. Or you've got freelancers who actually don't turn up and do the job. Or you've got freelancers who turn up but not really deliver on the job. and then wanting more money, asking more money. So at the beginning for me, even though I came from a role, from my in-house role where I looked after a medium-sized team, still I was not prepared to handle any of these situations, or clients giving us no notice even though our notice period was set in the contracts, or them not giving notice and not wanting to pay, refuse to pay. And most of the time, these things were coming at points when you just least expect it. Like you cannot really handle it in the business because you are small. You just got going. So, for any of you who actually are thinking of going into business, or you already started and many of these things happen, all I can say to you, these will be your tests, that how much do you want this? Because I had those thoughts immediately as well, that you are already thinking, hearing these stories, that like, why did you not just quit? Because if you quit, you can't succeed. You can't go through things, you can't see through things. As I mentioned in a couple of videos, like outside of business, I love running, I love challenges, I love like traveling around the world. And I felt like you cannot run a marathon if you only trained for a 5K. So it's one of those things that like it will hurt, and you, even before you run a marathon and you train the most amount of time, but on the start line, you already know that you are facing a lot of adversity, but you don't know when it's going to be coming. Because a marathon, running a marathon would always come with these challenges. But you don't know, is it going to come at 5K, 10K, 15K, 25K, or maybe it won't come at all because you're going to have an amazing day. So I really related back to that kind of feeling. How do I overcome those moments when I'm running a marathon? And in business, it's kind of the similar. But because I did not make any parallel at the beginning between the two, I honestly was for weeks completely down, nearly depressed. How do I go through this? And what I can tell you, the best thing to actually handle adversity, especially at the very, very beginning of your business, to handle the situation as quickly as possible with the least impact on your business and move on. Because there will be all of those situations coming later on. They will be coming despite of your best effort. And why is that? Because you can't control people and you can't control others. And sometimes even the best people, the people you trust or clients you wouldn't even expect about, they will pull those things because something happened in their life or in their business. Sometimes it's unintentional. A lot of times it is intentional, but you cannot even control either way. So what you need to do is immediately minimize the impact on your business and try to immediately move on and work on the next step, how you carrying on, instead of dwelling on the situation and one thing, not addressing the situation, because sometimes the situation happens and we ignore it. I did that. I was there. I was one of those people. Don't do it. Get it sorted and move on, because the best thing you can do is create a new momentum in your business that will then take you out of that mindset. But I think that's a big learning. For year one, I faced nearly 5 or 6 of these challenges, which is a lot for a small business. But I think I had to go through them to then be better at like leading and being a business owner. Honestly, if you don't go through those things, it's hard to call yourself a business owner because you are not facing those certain experiences that you need to then grow and learn and elevate your business and make the next step. Try to see adversity as a challenge, not something that freezing you, but more like, okay, how am I learning? How am I growing? What did I do wrong? How could I have avoided this situation? And what do I do differently next? I know it sounds cliche, but honestly, when you're facing it, is the hardest thing to remember. So I really hope that these videos are helping you guys. I'm gonna keep coming back with more. If you are enjoying them, please comment, subscribe, and like, and I see you on the next video.